In this video, we will discuss the possibility of a strategy that Sephiroth deployed in the final moments of FF7 Rebirth and what this potentially means for the story going forward. We will address the considerable evidence from within Remake and Rebirth that teaches us about the functionality of Destiny, Sephiroth's focus on Cloud becoming stronger, and the two separate scenes at the end of Remake and Rebirth where Destiny is breached. Let's first compare and contrast what happened on the two occasions we see Cloud breach Fate, at the end of Remake and Rebirth respectively. Comparing these two moments is very revealing. In Remake, we defeat the Harbinger of Fate, one of the planet's lines of defense in preserving the Order of Destiny. After the final boss battle, we see Cloud running up and leaping at Sephiroth with an enormous braver attack. Sephiroth looks up at him, with his arms open at his sides, smiles and lets Cloud strike him. The whispers contract, and we see a huge explosion of white rainbow light. In FF7 Rebirth, the story so far recap, Red describes the moment thus:
Cloud brought his blade down upon his rival, sundering destiny. The fight won, and the shackles of destiny broken. We stood before the unknown, a world of boundless freedom.
In Rebirth, Cloud attempts to parry the execution. A burst of rainbow light emits from his blade and surrounds the scene during and after the event. We see two depictions of the altar, one with a rainbow shroud and one without. In the rainbow world, Aerith seems to survive. In the world without, nothing seems to change. She dies. So by comparing the two scenes, what conclusions and assumptions can we draw? Zack's scenes seem to teach us that rainbows represent an act of agency that results in diverging worlds. Rainbow explosions mean a change or attempted change took place. It occurs when Cloud swings his sword. He may possess some unique ability that allows him to enact change in the real world or Beagle world. Perhaps he is an instrument of fate. Sephiroth, in both scenes, seems quite pleased in what is occurring. He's smiling.
Come on, I want you to do it, I want you to do it. Come on, hit me, hit me, come on, hit me!
Fate in the Prime Beagle chosen dream world doesn't change. In Remake, no immediate change is visible after Cloud strikes Sephiroth. He didn't die, Genova's body wasn't destroyed, they both still exist in this story after this event. In Rebirth in the Prime Beagleverse, Aerith still dies. My interpretation of these details is that the Harbinger of Fate protected the planet's dormant system of deciding or imagining its destiny. The planet has already set its fate from start to end and is happy with it. Cloud struck Sephiroth, who was manifesting through Genova's body, with a fatal blow. This wrenched open the planet's system for imagining its possible fates. The first divergent dream world being one where Genova's body was destroyed, skewing the story temporarily off track. However, we learn from Zack and Biggs that even in the dream worlds, fate attempts to correct. However, in the Beagleverse, nothing changed because the planet decides her fate. She would not allow Genova's body to be destroyed. This is compounded upon in the dream date with Aerith, where the game suggests 3 times that we have no choice in what fate has planned for us.
She decides her own fate, you see.
I predict with Sephiroth's real body, Genova's head, and the robe still all in play, the dream would eventually find its way back on course. My interpretation of Rebirth is that Cloud parried the blade. A dream world splits off where Aerith survived. In the Beagleverse, nothing changed because the planet decides her fate. Sephiroth executed a very specific plan to gain leverage over Cloud in the final encounter of FF7 Rebirth. So let's look at the events leading up to this scene. Throughout Remake and Rebirth, there is evidence that Sephiroth is focused on Cloud being strong enough to enact change. In Remake, during our very first encounter, he asks us to hold on to that hatred. He tells us, "You're too weak to save anyone." He is even seen helping and guiding us. After the plate collapses, "You have failed again, I see, but through suffering you will grow strong." He measures our strength in the final cutscene, declaring, "Not yet, Not strong enough to overpower me yet? In Rebirth, there has been much debate around the Midgar-Soma encounter. Some, myself included, believe the scene suggests that Sephiroth acted through Cloud using Finishing Touch to kill the Soma. The close-up of Cloud's profile suggests an alternative interpretation of the scene. It's also a callback to the ending of FF7 and Cloud's potential use of a previously locked limit break as a sign of hidden strength. I'm pretty sure I remember reading an article where the devs stated, "The party was stronger at the end of Remake than at this point in the original story." I've been unable to find the article whilst putting this video together, so take this with a huge grain of salt. If I didn't imagine it, and you remember reading this interview as well, or can point me to it, I would really like to hear from you in the comments. In Gongaga, he offers Cloud assistance again, and further fans the flames of Cloud's hatred as a motivator. He does so again at the Temple of the Ancients. In classic FF7, we spend most of the Rebirth section of the game pursuing the black-caped man, with a number 1 tattooed on his arm. In Rebirth, we pursue generic robes, without this same focal point. Cloud sets the majority of the trail guided by illusions. This time round, Cloud acts as Sephiroth's most trusted agent, the number 1, the focus of most of his power and attention. As the final chapter begins, he offers us his blessing. As we approach the Forgotten Capital, we skip over the Lunar Harp section of the original game. It's no longer required as we follow the Dark Whispers. They lead us through the forest. Red and Cloud both notice, this time round, Sephiroth wants us here. In contrast, the White Whispers, arbiters of Omni-Aerith, evident by their magic, tempest, and warding abilities, attempt to stop the party from approaching using lethal force, warning us that this is a trap and that we should not approach. It's the Dark Whispers that help Cloud gain entry. As the fateful moment approaches and Cloud makes his bid to change destiny, let's look more closely at Sephiroth. As Cloud makes his move, Sephiroth's expression changes to an intense smile. His eyes twitch as he excitedly examines the interaction. Sephiroth's plan was for Cloud to be strong enough at this juncture to attempt to parry his blade.
No!
Cloud's special status within this world seems to allow him to divert destiny with the swing of his sword. Ultimately, the planet decides her own fate, meaning that Cloud's attempt is relegated to a dream world within the planet's internal system of imagining its possible futures. Sephiroth's use of the Black Whispers supports this. In On the Way to a Smile, Sephiroth within the livestream acts as a spiritual rabble-rouser, riling up and corrupting souls who were shortchanged in life, filling them with spite and hatred. If we view the Black Whispers as a political force, he's sowing despair across infinite dream worlds. When they are merged with the world of Meteor and destroyed, they return to the livestream where all life is as one. He is feeding the planet with negative spiritual energy that he can convince to take his side. He's stuffing the ballot box so that when he makes his move to change the planet's destiny, it will not veto him and overwrite the change, it will agree with him. His objective is to change the planet's destiny and permanently extend its lifespan. To achieve this goal, we know he needs or desires Cloud's help. He's asked him twice now and has been rejected both times. At the Forgotten Capital, he set Cloud up to split off a dream world that contains a living Aerith. The third and final time, Sephiroth will make Cloud, and by extension the player, a Faustian offer. I predict he will speak in the same calm, magnanimous tone he used at the end of Remake, and whilst explaining the inner workings of the world. Cloud, I don't want to kill Aerith. Destiny forced my hand again and again. I want her to live. For you. So I gave you the strength to stop my blade. Now she lives in one of these many worlds. Help me unite them and bring her back forever.
Cloud, lend me your strength. Let us defy destiny together.
The player and Cloud will most likely move from a position of denial and anger into negotiation with fate. They will both say yes to Sephiroth's plan of rejecting death, thinking, what's the worst that could happen? This sounds good. Sephiroth seems kinda chill. He will manipulate Cloud, the player, and the planet to agree with him.
Checkmate. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, I gotta call my brother. I better call my housekeeper. I gotta call my lawyer. Forget my lawyer.
In discussing Rebirth, the devs seem very interested in Cloud's state of grief in the original game, in Advent Children, and in aligning the player with Cloud's mindset. I propose that they are setting up Part 3 to take Cloud and the player on a ludonarrative journey through the stages of grief, through denial, anger, negotiation, depression, and acceptance. If you lay these stages over the beats of the original game and the new B-plot elements, the potential story of the game practically writes itself. I will continue with this series as I have one more overlooked aspect of the technical narrative I wish to cover before moving on to discuss the themes and what I believe to be the ultimate thesis and conclusion of the Remake Trilogy. As a part of that, I will likely discuss my predictions for all of the major plot elements of Part 3. I look forward to discussing these ideas with you in the comments. Thank you for watching.